that being said, you want to see it in your hand turn 1. But after that, it's not actually terrible for it to be there.
Just need a moment to recover from that. Yeah. Like, okay, if Fabio can find the one left over in his deck, he's going to be absolutely laughing. Because, yeah, then, like you say, the others being priced, you don't really care so much. But
this is round 5. We're bringing you the action now. Fabio Battistella up against Allan Dubreuil. And Allan is kicking things off here with a Battle VIP pass of his own.
Fantastic.
Exactly. Facing up against that little Charmander in the active spot.
Yeah, meanwhile, Allan himself starting with that gorgeous Crown Zenith Mana Fee. Not really that much of a use against Charizard, unfortunately, unless, I mean, some lists do play that Delphox, of course, that can snipe on the bench, but I don't know if Fabio's list is. But for now, it might unfortunately just be like a little bit of a just a bench occupier that's not doing much. Yeah,
it's a bit unfortunate to start that in this particular matchup, but generally, Mana Fee is useful in a lot of others. With that Wave Veil ability, being able to prevent any damage from to your bench Pokemon from your opponent's attacks. As he does get the energy attachment to the active, is able to use that fantastic ability from the Chien-Pao as well.
Yeah, so that Chivalry Chill lets you search for 2 water energies from your deck and put them into your hand. Absolutely fantastic. Synergizes with basically everything that this deck wants to do. It's, Chien-Pao would have been good enough if it just had the attack, but then it also has this insane consistency in Search card that lets you get the energies that you need to make that attack so good as well. It's a very, very, very strong card.
Yeah, we're seeing some fantastic artworks there on Allan's side.
Oh, absolutely.
As well. Many of the alt arts there, and the Radiant Greninja using that incredible consistency concealed cards. Is that a Palkia coming down as well?
Yeah. I'm getting blind from all these arts. Oh, goodness me, so much shine. Now, over to Fabio, who starts off with a Chorus Experiment. Now, something very important to note, Fabio's specific variant of Charizard is actually the Lost Zone variant. So this is that variant that aims to kind of use the Lost Zone toolbox as a consistency engine, for both to dig with Comphase, to get in some early damage with Cramorant, and then you just kind of finish things off with Radiant Charizard and Charizard EX. So that's the variant that Fabio's going to be playing today.
Yep, exactly that. So let's see how this Chorus Experiment is going to come down with Fabio, as we do get a little sneak peek at the hand as well. Does have a Comfy there. Does have that Jet Energy from the Chorus as well. So options to try and maneuver around the actual deck itself.
There seems to be some kind of discussion going on. Something about the size of the hand, maybe?
But yeah, just whilst we get that clarified, if there is anything, as both players have just paused for the moment. What are you expecting from this kind of matchup? Lost Charizard up against Chien-Pao, which is a bit of a hybrid, actually, because there is the Palkia that we've seen dropped onto the bench, but there's also the Frigibax Caliber rare candy alongside Pidgeot EX as well. Yeah,
that's very, very interesting. So it's actually not a match like this specific interaction, like Charizard versus Chien-Pao. It's probably not one that I say, if I'm being honest, I've thought about as much. There's a lot of, I feel like it's one of those where you trade blow for blow a lot, right? These decks both have a very big potential to do one-hit knockouts, but I guess the big difference is later on, or rather earlier on, Charizard can't do that as much. So earlier on, you're leading with the Comphase, and in this particular variant at least, and maybe you're doing some chip damage with Cramorant. It's only later where the Charizard comes in with those big one-hit knockouts, whereas the Chien-Pao can come in and do that very, very early on, just go for those one-hit knockouts very quickly. So maybe that might give Allan a slight edge, where if Fabio goes for an early Charizard, Allan can just get enough energy to do a one-hit knockout on it and then take the game from there. But
yeah, definitely. Back to the game, though, as both players are now comfortable where we're at. We do see a escape rope coming down. Fabio gets the Comfy into the active and then kick off things with his first flower selecting of this round.
Yes, and choice there between a Fire Energy and a Super Rod. Does opt to go for the Fire Energy to the Lost Zone. Makes sense, of course. The Super Rod gets back more energy overall, so that's definitely an important resource to keep early on, so that later on you can refuel your deck for Charizard's ability.
Doesn't look like he was able to grab another Comfy, which is causing a bit of an awkward scenario here, because that Cramorant he's just been able to bench would be unable to attack, because obviously we wouldn't be able to fulfill the energy cost, because there are no water energies in Fabio's deck. But with Lost Provisions as an ability requiring 4 or more lock cards in the Lost Zone, Fabio only having 3 just has to pass.
Yeah, that's not really great. I mean, only one Charmander down, and not able to get another Comfy down, and missing that turn 1 attack. You kind of, he's losing a lot, and especially now that Allan's got the rare candy and the Battistella down straight away, this is a much, much stronger start from Allan.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about that kind of hybrid package that Allan has been able to put together, and obviously put himself in a fantastic position at 4-0, but he's got the Pidgeot in there. He's got the Palkia V-Star as well, with that fantastic Star Portal ability, being able to get energies back from the discard. He's got the Excalibur engine. There's a lot in there, and it's
so much
happening.
going on. Yeah, I don't quite know how Allan's managed to find the space for all this. It's very, very impressive. It's kind of, I guess he's going for the approach of, I'm going to be like a little bit thin on lines, but I'm going to give myself options, and sacrificing again. It's that consistency, power spike, trade-off, right? And of course, playing that Pidgeot EX, if you can get that out, then you're going to be the most consistent deck in the world, because every single turn you can search for the exact card you need.
Yeah, until we see Mike's cast a prediction of that path to the peak come down. Of course.
Yes, of course.
Just impacting all of these kind of ability decks here. But what I really like seeing is actually the 50 HP Pidgey has the Call for Family ability, or attack, sorry,
Yes,
just to be able to then just continue setting up in a different manner. So there's loads of little pieces in there, but commend Allan right now. He's currently 4-0, utilizing his deck very well. Concealed cards there to continue drawing through for that consistency.
Yeah. It is interesting with the Pidgey, because it's a bit of a trade-off, right? That Call for Family attack is very, very strong, of course, but the sacrifice is it only has 50 HP, and if you're up against a Lost Zone deck, that is not a number of HP you want to have. But
look what we're seeing here now, Freya. Things are getting spicy.
This is going to be a devastating turn here, as long as Allan's got the extra energy. Yes, oh my goodness, he's going to be able to do Moonlight Shuriken and KO Charmander and the Comfey.
90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, discarding 2 energies attached. Targets down that Comfey and Charmander, and that's an insta-scoop up from Fabio, knowing there's not much else he will be able to do. So Allan takes game 1. Yeah.
This is exactly what we were talking about earlier, right? Where we say, what deck can make the most use of Radiant Greninja? Because, of course, Lost Box can, but it takes a little bit more effort to go there. With Chien-Pao, Rare Candy, Excalibur, some energy, and you're good to go. It is absolutely probably it was almost certainly the deck that can get a early Moonlight Shuriken out the easiest, and I think that's just been proven there.
Yeah, that was turn 2 after all. Turn 2, Rare Candy, Excalibur, all the energies that it needs from being able to utilize Chien-Pao to take the energies out of the deck as well, and then just get them attached wherever he wants. Yeah. And Moonlight Shuriken just really pushing Fabio in such an awkward spot, because it was just a Cramorant left.
Yes, and at that point, draw for turn, but even at that point, right, I mean, we saw that Fabio's hand wasn't that great to begin with, so if you're up against that devastating turn 1 attack, then what are you really going to do from there? You can maybe bench another Charmander just to have it Moonlight Shuriken again. It's definitely
exactly that.
I think Fabio recognizing circumstances and saying, right, best to just sort of move on, and we go to game 2.
Yeah, not ideal, and of course we already highlighted because of our shock of the free battle VIP pass in the prizes, which obviously wasn't helpful for Fabio early on, especially since he had the Chorus Experiment as well. He's already digging through his deck, he's looking for those cards, and just wasn't able to get enough down or enough going on his turn. That early Cram would have been quite nice, just to kind of force the prize race a little bit, but without anything like the Manaphy down, that Greninja was always going to be threatening.
Yeah, and it is important to note as well, Fabio does play the Manaphy, so it is an option that he does have, but again, with no reasonable means to set up well on that turn 1, he just wasn't able to find it, and so Allan very poignantly was able to capitalize on that straight away and have a devastating turn 2 Moonlight Shuriken.
Yeah, let's hope for a better start from Fabio's side. Of course, like we mentioned, was a previous Lille regional champion and is looking to take the title home once again, as we do get a glimpse of the prizes once again.
It's looking a bit more reasonable, I think.
Yeah, reasonable on both sides. Of course, that Manaphy now being on the prizes for Allan doesn't really matter, because he's not having to worry about any of those awful snipings onto the bench there. So Fabio does kick things off, does use a flower selecting, early choice of the Boca Gear into the Lost Zone, benches the Cram, plays 2 copies, as you kind of mentioned, utilized there to try and poke through some sort of chip damage, but sometimes just as an attacker, take an easy knockout sometimes, but gets return KO'd and then starts activating the power of Charizard EX.
Yeah, it fuels things very, very nicely, right? And it's kind of, at first, I remember when this version of Charizard first came out, and at first I thought, well, it's an interesting mix, right? You think like the Lost Zone engine, but it's like a stage 2 deck. I'm not quite sure I get it. But when you start to like piece it together, you realize, oh, hold on, with Charizard specifically, because you're only doing more damage like later on, it actually makes complete sense. You want to like, feed cheap, easy prizes earlier, like get your consistency going, and then later on you come in with the Charizard when it's actually doing enough damage to take big knockouts. So it kind of complements, the two complement each other actually way more than you might think at first obvious glance.
Yeah, so it was just a passover with 2 now into the Lost Zone for Fabio from 2 flower selectings. I think this is absolutely fine. We've kind of mentioned that giving up some of these early prizes allows your mid and late games tends to be coming in with that Charizard EX. However, not getting it early enough sometimes can be a bit of a crux for the deck, because Allan will constantly be looking for that potential to take out those Charmanders with ease with something like that Greninja once again.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm sure Fabio will be like mindful of. But even so, not being able to get out any Charmanders turn 1 is a little bit rough. I guess
not ideal,
no.
But I think you can live with it so long as you've got a couple of confays down, and you can start maybe just kind of weaving in your attackers and maybe get a Charmander down next turn. I think Fabio might be okay. Yeah. But it's on Allan right now. Battle VIP pass start again. And can utilize Shivery Chill, get those energies for Greninja.
Yeah, absolutely. And also can make use of that Artisan that Fabio put down. So you're going to be able to use that to put down a non-rule box basic. There's 1 Frigibax down already. So could be considering going for, can't go for the Palkia, unfortunately. That's not how that works. Wait.
That's the Irida. It looks like an Irida on the board right now. So grabbing the water Pokemon from the Irida there, and another item. Opts for the Battle VIP pass.
Yeah. Who needs Artisan?
Yeah, don't worry about that. There's the Pidgey, the 50 HP Pidgey with that Coolful family attack. It's coming down from the VIP. Allan identifying early on that just having access to this and any card I want at a later stage, vital.
Yeah, and not only that, but I think Allan is very aware of the fact that Fabio's going to be unlikely to be able to take out that Pidgey early on. Like Fabio would have to have a boss's orders in order to be able to do it. And I mean, Fabio does play free. Allan doesn't know that, but it's considering like Fabio's current setup. I think he recognizes that it's unlikely that that Pidgey is going to be taken down anytime soon.
Oh, he's also got that cancelling cologne in hand as well. So if there's an opportunity to ramp up to that Bax Caliber, get those energies going and find a way to maybe maneuver a Manaphy into the active spot, if Fabio can find it, could spell trouble for Fabio. But just something easy for now.
Yeah. 1 energy onto the bench Chien-Pao and then pass. Now back to Fabio. He finds himself another Chorus's Experiment. At least the first one of this game. So not a whole lot to work with there. We see Palpad, Rare Candy, Collapse Stadium, Comfy, and Charizard.
Yeah, kind of awkward spot, because as you kind of mentioned correctly, haven't quite seen the Charmander yet. There was no alternative counter stadium being played by Allan, which kind of means Fabio has an out to get a Charmander once again. There's a Charizard EX hitting the Lost Zone as well, and does utilize the Artisan now, likely targeting the Charmander, just so that he can get that mid to late game later. But goes for the Manaphy, but I kind of get it. I get it.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about this, because if he really wanted a Charmander, he could have gotten one out like turn 1, right, with the Artisan, but he didn't. So I think I'm starting to realize this may be like more of a deliberate ploy. I think Fabio is thinking, I don't want to put Charmanders down until I know I can get 2 down at the same time with the Manaphy protection to avoid me getting, completely
Double
wrecked
snipe
by Moonlight Shuriken again. So actually very, very heads up.
Yeah, very right there. Because, of course, maybe that Chorus Experiment was able to hit into a Charmander or a Manaphy, maybe then would help that kind of decision-making for that Artisan instead of utilizing that first. So a bit of sequencing there, just to kind of see more of the deck, get more information as well first. Yeah. As we do see the Flower Select there also by the Comfy in the active spot.
Yeah, slightly unfortunate as now there's 2 Rare Candies in the Lost Zone. Fabio's playing 4, but the kind of resources you'd want to make sure to have access to when you actually want to get the Charizards out. So
was that an unable to switch out? Maybe even just to kind of start with the chip damage as well? Was that a draw from Allan just then? A pass over? Yeah, looks like a Shivery Chill now. So again, just a bit on the back foot as Allan is able to kind of, through consistency-wise, pull out all of those energies, utilize Radiant Greninja, and just try and draw into so much better cards, because it's starting to thin out that deck.
Yeah, and it's given what happened here, it's actually very huge now that Fabio got down that mana fee, because yeah, otherwise Greninja again would put in a lot of pressure. But I think I'm just like shocked that, because I mean Fabio's hand is huge right now, right? But you look through it, yeah, there's like nothing really to work with. There's plenty of cards, but like nothing that's actually helps him to get anywhere.
And we have just drawn into the Pidgeot EX that fantastic ability to quick search. Does he have rare candy in hand right now? It doesn't look like it. And there's an Avery.
Maybe we can find it off this. Free cards.
I can hear Shay in the background right now screaming with joy.
Literally did a fist bump, yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. But just for the draw free effect, no rare candy yet.
No.
Could have been a fantastic combo piece if you just hit that, but nothing to worry about yet. You know, Fabio has been quite slow from his side of the board as well, so Allan's still going to be in pretty good position.
Yeah, so Ultra Ball now going to be played discarding a Nest Ball. Yeah, definitely don't need that. And the Water Energy can get that back very easily later. And we find that Palkia V-Star. So, of course, it's very, very interesting that we see that the Chien-Pao lists, they have a mixture of sort of different supporting Pokemon in them. Some are opted actually for like a 1/1 Arceus V-Star line, just to search things out. But a lot of them have opted for this Palkia V-Star, of course, with that insane Star Portal ability, which is literally being used right now.
Yeah, during your turn, you may attach up to 3 Water Energy cards from your discard pile to your Water Pokemon in any way you like, as we see the 3 just being splashed down onto the Chien-Paos there, and an attachment to the Palkia V-Star as well. It's a fantastic V-Star ability that kind of synergizes with that Radiant Greninja's concealed cards, and now he can start applying a lot of pressure to Fabio's board. There's no Charizard EX that will appear out of nowhere currently, as we do see the first attack and first prize being taken with that Hail Blade.
It is always a little bit frustrating when, of course, with that Hail Blade, because it does 60 times the amount you discard. Combat having 70 is just out of range, so you got to discard 2 energies to do it, which is why some Chien-Pao lists have, of course, started playing that Articuno to boost the damage by 10. But here we go with Fabio, 2 Charmander now going down.
Yeah, this is the moment that he's able to bench both of them at the same time. Relatively safe for the moment, not, of course, knowing, like we do with the caster view, that there's Canceling Cologne somewhere in Allan's hand, but you know, this is how you've got to play. He's got the mana feed down finally, as you correctly mentioned, Freya, and just trying to protect those 2 Charmanders and even the Comfy itself.
Yes.
As we do see an Iono come down on the board.
Of course, like that's the other thing, that with Fabio having this almost like comeback strategy, Iono becomes even stronger, and that's okay. So I thought he drew too many for a second. I was looking at the wrong side. That's all good.
It's good. Just something to make sure we're on top of as well. Does have the Cramorant in the active spot, of course. Now able to utilize that Spit instantly as soon as possible. Just start applying pressure of his own. You know, if it gets retaliated back, then Charizard EX's attack and power, that Burning Darkness, 180 damage plus 30 more for each prize card your opponent has taken, will mean all of those Pokemon, well, maybe not a V-Star yet, is in range though.
Yeah, so finishing your turn there with the Spit instantly, and so we're going to put 110 onto the Chien-Pao. There is something kind of interesting that I would like to mention, which is, so as we mentioned earlier, there's 2 rare candies in the Lost Zone, but Fabio has actually decided to put down 3 Charmanders. There's no Charmeleon in the deck, so one of those Charmanders is never going to evolve. I kind of wondering what the reasoning is behind that.
I guess the view is you'd want at some stage 2 Charizard EX up and running at the same time. Just it kind of eliminates that opportunity for anything silly, any sort of shenanigans.
Like a cross-switcher Canceling Cologne.
Exactly. Yeah. And also then you can always then just focus that maybe 1 will go down. But you know, he's already got small targets on the bench anyway as well. It's not too much of an issue just to have that ready to go. If 1 goes down, he's still got 2 to power up to the big Charizard EX with that 330 HP.
Yeah. But yeah, I bet, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, that combined with just mitigating against the potential for like the insane wombo combo turn, makes a lot of sense there. Because especially given that Allan's support setup is pretty good right now, so it's not completely unreasonable that he would be able to piece it together. So yeah, definitely bearing that in mind. NG going down from hand, and
it's very interesting here because he's just choosing what he may want from this Iridir, it looks like, because he doesn't have any of the, or does have, is that Baxcalibur down? It's not. I can't know. Just to go double check, it just looks like he doesn't want to utilize it yet. Just goes for the Hellblade once again, just taking the knockout on the Cramorant, now activating Charizard EX to be capable of taking one-hit KOs on any of these Chim Pals.
Yeah, this is where it gets a bit tricky, right? Because now you're in that territory where with the 2 prizes, the Charizard's attack is doing 240 damage, and this is the point where you start to be able to one-hit knockout most things. And granted, Allan has taken a 2-prize lead, so that's going in his favor, but his way has to maybe be a little bit careful.
Yeah, and again, I was just a little bit confused by the alt arts and the different, I believe is likely the French name of the Baxcalibur there that is on Allan's side of the board. But it's another fantastic piece of artwork, which has completely confused me. But we do see, apologies, we do see an ability we haven't actually mentioned yet in this matchup
Infernal
feature.
Rain, yeah, there it is, finally coming in. So when you evolve into the Charizard EX, you can search your deck for 3 basic Fire and Gear cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. An insanely powerful ability, and these are the kinds of abilities that make Stage 2s worth playing. When you have a payoff like that, and especially when it's on a Pokemon that has such a good attack and insane HP, like this is why Stage 2s are viable again.
And here it comes, that Charizard EX, that Terra version, goes for the boss on the Baxcalibur just to try and limit the potential to attach additional energies. Just takes the 1 prize, but that's absolutely fine because at this moment in time, what else can Allan do other than attach 1 energy from hand?
Yeah, this is huge. There is no backup Frigibacks on Allan's bench, so there's no way to get a Baxcalibur this turn.
This is what happens when you have multiple support Pokemon on the board.
Yeah.
You know, that Palkia V-Star, typically another one which allows you to accelerate energies. And of course, that Pidgey being able to just grab any card you want. But we do see the Frigibacks come down now, the 60 HP variant, with that, again, more alt arts.
Yes.
Of course. But I wonder if Fabio's turn, he'll just start to try to target those down where possible.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe there is... I'm not sure if there's 2 or 1 boss left. I know that there was one that played just now, but I think I remember seeing one hit the discard earlier, so it might be a little bit tough to find one again. But if he can do it, then he's going to be in a very, very good position to just kind of snowball with this game.
Yeah, definitely there, as we do see a concealed cards. Once again, just that consistency level kind of continue to increase. And just trying to work out exactly what Allan can do right now. He does have double cross switch in hand. Potential loads of targets the Charmander C. Now this is where we may start to see just why there were 3 Charmanders down.
Yeah.
That potential Hellblade may only really need to be useful once because Charmander is weak to water.
Yes, so 1 discard will do another 120, which I think is going to be more than adequate. But again, it's what the follow-up is, right? This is a fine turn now from Allan, but it's going to be what comes after this. And really it's going to come down to, can Fabio take down that Frigibacks again? Yeah,
can he take down that Frigibacks? I mean, does promote the Comfey into the active spot. Again, just to continue, again, his own consistency way of kind of burning through the deck a little bit. Ooh, there's a Charizard EX. We've seen one already hit the Lost Zone. Does, of course, play the 4 full copies. Is aware, I'm sure, that there's 1 more left in the deck, otherwise would not have made that decision. Yeah. But wanted to keep the Iono just to kind of force Allan into awkward scenarios.
Yep. And then another flash selecting with the Jet Energy bringing the bench Comfey into the active, and has the choice between 2 switch cards, opts to keep the switch cart and get rid of the escape rope. But not much else going on aside from that. There is a tough decision here to be made again as to what the best attacking approach is. There is a Super Rod, so that's going to be important to get some Fire Energies back to maybe do another Infernal Rain later on. Yep. Maybe think about getting a Cramorant back as well. No, does just decide to go for the 2 Fire Energies and the Comfey. Yeah, just kind of get that consistency with the Comfey back so and use his Artisan immediately to get that onto the board. Not much of a threat from Allan's side of the board right now, so wants to utilize all of those flower selectings where possible. Maybe digging for that final rare candy as well, because he's already used 1, 2 in the Lost Zone. Does find the boss. Oh, that's huge.
So it could be a switch card into the Charizard here now. You see boss onto the Frigibacks. Maybe a bit of an over KO, but it's vital here to just kind of stop Allan's side of the board, because he's already had to, again, discard 1 of those water energies from the Chien-Pao when it attacked. Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that was a huge, huge find. That's exactly what Fabio would have been looking for. And now, I mean, what does Allan even do here? You get out your 3rd Frigibacks, I guess? Yeah, well, it's one of those things. You just kind of have to keep going and kind of ask the question of Fabio, do you have another boss? But as we do see Irida coming down once again, grabs that Frigibax, as you've already mentioned. Does have Palkia V-Star almost ready to go, just needs that one water energy attachment to it and can start swinging with that attack we've heard so much in previous formats and metas. That subspace swell, 60 damage plus 20 more for each bench Pokemon in the game.
Yeah, I recall that one regionals in Australia where the Palkia was literally every single top 8 deck right some time ago. We're a little bit far away from those days, but make no mistake, Palkia is still very, very much a threat, even if it is just as a support Pokemon for Chen Pao. It's still a very, very strong card.
Yeah, and there's an Ultra Ball there, grabbing that Pidgeot EX. I couldn't quite tell if was that rare candy already there? Pokestop in hand as well, maybe going for the rare candy.
I think so. We got Pokestop, does it? Cross Switcher.
1, 2, 3. Not quite.
It's a good Pokestop, but it's not what you would have wanted.
Does lose his 1 copy of Boss.
That's true.
Like. But, you know, he wants to be applying pressure from his own side, so will attack into the Charizard EX.
It's be 260 damage, it's a lot.
But at the moment, just to kind of reconfirm the prizes that Allan's taken, is it 3 prizes there?
Yeah, I thought it was 3. Yeah, I might just need to sort of double check that on the prize count. But in the meantime, Fabio is thinking about what he wants to do. There's another counter stadium there. Does have that replacement Artisan, so not going to be able to use it for much, but of course it just stops Allan from being able to Pokestop further and then just go straight for the Iono. Yeah, the reason why we're asking about the prize is just to kind of double confirm once again, of course, Burning Darkness, 180 plus 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent's taken. I believe it is free that has been taken currently by Allan, which means it's doing it 180 plus 90, which is 270, which doesn't KO a Palkia V-Star. Okay. Yeah, so we did just get confirmation there that, Allan does have 3 prizes left, not 4, so we're just going to get that graphic updated real quick.
Yeah, but, no problem. But again, just wanted to make sure we can follow here as well, but also for you viewers at home, this is our round 5 feature match. Fabio, our last Lille regional champion, currently 1 game down and is still able to just try and find a way back into the match. I think they're just double checking that it's not a KO as Allan reaches for the die.
10 short.
Not ideal here.
No, not at all.
But initiative over to Allan.
And this is now, like, the window's opening now for Allan, because, I mean, if Fabio was able to find a KO there, I think he would have been a very good spot to win this game, but now we're just looking and thinking, well, Allan can take a KO here, and it shouldn't be too hard to take a follow-up KO afterwards. Yeah, just be down to 1 prize after this knockout of the Charizard EX in the active spot. Just needs to grab some energies back from the discard using that fantastic Superior Energy Retrieval card we've seen previously before as well, being able to discard 2 other cards from your hand and just put up to 4 yes
from your discard, which is fantastic for a deck like this.
Yeah. And what it goes to show as well is that you don't necessarily always need Baxcalibur up to be able to, put in a strong offensive showing with this deck, and that's one of the reasons why Palkia is so strong, because it gives you just a 2 attachment option that still does a very solid amount of damage and can see you through when your Baxcalibur isn't online. Yeah, so I believe the only last potential Gust option is a Cross Switcher left. He's obviously used 2 already. Did grab 1 from that Pokestop a moment ago as well. That Boss we saw also hit the discard. So Fabio will really need to utilize trying to find that rare candy alongside a Charizard EX as soon as possible. Just have a big bulky Pokemon in a way, so long as Allan is not able to gust around it. Yeah, but so the problem is that Fabio can't really afford to go for Frigibax again. I think that at that point that's going to be like too slow, because you're not dealing with the Palkia that can do like a lot of damage. So, but then if you don't deal with the Frigibax, then Allan has a chance to just take it, even on something like a Charizard, take a big 1-hit knockout with the Chen Pao. So Fabio's in actually, from what looked like a pretty favorable position, he's got it back against the wall a little bit now. Yeah, it does hit the Iono. Oh, that's huge. Which is massive. Did also just hit the Charizard EX from the flower selecting, so it is going to the bottom of the deck. Oh. Which is, sorry, apologies, I was slightly wrong. I thought I did see it, but he does find it, but no rare candy now. And does extend. Chen Pao being able to take down our round 5. A great showing there by Allan, despite being a little bit up against the wall from his board setup with that Baxcalibur going down, is able to
take both games.
Yeah, Allan going on taking down our reigning Lille regional champion. You got to be smiling about that, right?
Yeah, it was a fantastic showing, utilizing a few different pieces and support Pokemon there. You know, obviously Greninja is a fantastic showing as always, but utilizing that Palkia V-Star once again, it's just showcasing how powerful you've already mentioned Chien-Pao could be.
Yeah. And again, with that Palkia, like I mentioned before, right, one of the biggest strengths is not just the Star Portal ability, it is the fact that it has such a strong attack that can see you through when your back is against the wall, when your back's caliber isn't online, you can't do your super cold, you can't load up your Chien-Pao to do those big hail blades, and it's in those situations where you need something just like see you through, and Palkia got the job done.
Yeah, being able to tank that hit as well, just taking 270 and saying, I'm still here, I'm gonna just subspace swell once again, and taking out this massive Charizard EX and pushing Allan into a 5-0 record and into a really commanding spot to be potentially making it into day 2.
Yeah, one more win and a tie. That's all Allan needs from now on. He's got 15 match points locked up already, and there's not that much more. I mean, for someone who, I mean, we saw at the start, right? He's not had any big achievements so far, so got to be pretty happy to be in this position, thinking, wow, this could be my first breakout result. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, Fabio has won such example already last year, being able to take down a regional championship, and then also just being consistently performing well throughout the season. At 4-1, he shouldn't feel too bad or too hard done by. Had a couple of bad draws there, maybe a little bit from the prizes or from some of the flower selectings, but can still go into the next round with his head held high, still just 2 wins and a tie away from making it into day 2. And maybe there's another extra round there to push him even further with some more points.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean, if you take a loss early on, that's like the worst feeling, right? Because you think to yourself, oh, like, and now I've got so many more rounds to go, and I can't really afford to like drop anymore. But you know, when you're already into round 5 and you take your first loss now, you're thinking, yeah, okay, it's not great, but you can shrug it off. Like, I'll just win the rest, and I'll still make it through to day 2.
Yeah, exactly that. But you know, Charizard being able to put on a show already. He's already, like I said, won 4 rounds, 4 more to go. Plenty of Pokemon to go. But as we already said, congratulations once again to Allan to just make it past the previous Lille regional champion.
You love to see it, right? You love to. I don't want to call it like a handing over the torch. It's not quite the same in that way, right? But to kind of see time again, even like we talked about at the beginning, right? You don't have to be playing for like 10 plus years in order to do well. It'll help you. It'll make you more likely to do well, of course. But if you put the time in, you put the reps in, you put in the practice, you have the deck knowledge, you are in more than a good stead to have a good result at regional still.
Yeah, and maybe this is the tournament Chien-Pao is able to take down. Maybe this is its own breakout tournament. And also be crowned a regional champion deck.
I'd say it's overdue, to be honest.
It's overdue.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty more for it to come. Like I said, I'm sure there's plenty other top players on good records with Chien-Pao as well. Such a wide meta. Yeah. We're going to keep coming back to this, but this is the format we're in now. Anything can really take it down.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I don't think it's not